Good evening and welcome to Falcon Update live on MC77. I'm Lily Keshishan.
And I'm JoJo King. Men's basketball fought hard on the road against Lancaster Bible, but ultimately fell to the Chargers 81-72. The Falcons came within 1 point of the Chargers late in the game thanks to a left-handed hook shot from Nate Eberle, but the Chargers used a late run to hold the Falcons off. Colin Soreka and Matt Glagowski led the offense for the Falcons with 23 points and 17 points respectively. Josh Darville also contributed 15 boards to help the Falcons maintain possession. The men were back in action against St. John Fisher College on Friday.
Number 11 Messiah women's basketball traveled to number 19 Gettysburg for a top 20 matchup on Tuesday evening. The Falcons trailed the Bullets for most of the game, but the women turned things around with a big fourth quarter performance, outscoring Gettysburg 30-19 and taking the game with a final score of 74-69. Leading the Falcons in points scored was Macy Thornton with 27 points, which was her career high. Kristen Smolik added 10 points, and Alicia Rohrer and Megan Zimmerman each contributed 8. This victory moves the Falcons up to 2-1 on the season. The next game for women's basketball would come on Friday against Wesley College.
Messiah Falcons took on the Wesley Wolverines last Friday as Messiah hosted the Hampton Inn Tip-Off Tournament. A slow start here for the Falcons as the Wolverines start the game pushing hard with a 7-2 lead. Macy Thornton starts the comeback with a great steal and layup. Later in the second quarter, Falcons lead by 4. Messiah takes off with a 16-2 run, Thornton giving 11 of those 16 points to the team. Towards the end of the second half, Messiah moves the ball quickly, giving a wide open lane underneath to Haley Meriday. Elena Eckley follows with a steal, leading yet another layup for the Falcons. Messiah leads 48-32. Final score of the game leaves Messiah with a win of 64-41, and they advance into the championship game for the tournament.
Men's basketball dropped their first game of the Town Bank Tip-Off Tournament against St. John Fisher 81-74. Colin Soreka led the Falcons offense with 33 points, 5 assists, and 3 steals. Matt Glagowski aided in the Falcons' efforts, recording a double-double with 18 points and 11 rebounds. As a team, the Falcons shot 37% from the field, but struggled beyond the arc, shooting 20.8%. The men would face Greensboro College in the consolation game on Saturday.
For the 5th season in a row, the Messiah women's soccer team ended their season in the NCAA tournament by way of penalty kicks. The Falcons and the University of Lynchburg Hornets drew 2-2 in an end-to-end battle. The 2 goals for the Falcons came from Brooke Firestone, her 20th goal of the season, and Maddie Cole, who tied the game in the 86th minute. But the Hornets edged Messiah 3-2 in penalty kicks to end the Falcons season with an overall record of 19-1-2 in the sectional semifinals.
We'll have more sports when we get back. Stay tuned.
Welcome to GoMessiah.com, the official website of Messiah College Athletics. On the homepage, you can find recent stories, a social media directory including general athletics and sports-specific accounts, and the Falcon YouTube stream. Scrolling down, you can view upcoming events with stats, audio, and video links if available, as well as recent results, including box scores and recaps. In those recaps, you can read the story along with view the photo gallery, next game information, team schedule, and roster. Game stats are on the side, and you can even watch the highlight of the night. These highlights are made possible by GoMessiah.tv, where you can view live streams and stats for all home games, regardless of where you are. GoMessiah.com, your home for everything Falcon.
GoMasai.tv allows us to reach a greater fan base for all of our parents of student athletes who are out of state and can't make it to a lot of our games, or even our growing alumni base. It's awesome to be able to have the opportunity for them to touch base with us and watch our games live and enjoy seeing where the program's going.
Leanne Weaver and Benjamin Schott represented Messiah at the NCAA Division III Cross Country Championship as the first male and female duo from Messiah to make an appearance together since 2009. Weaver finished in 140th place with a lifetime personal best of 22:50.9, averaging a 6:07 mile on the 6K course. The men's race started off with a small pileup out of the gate, and the runners were called back. Schott placed 153rd, coming through the line in 25:54.3 and averaging a 5:12 mile on the 8K course to wrap up his senior cross-country campaign.
Men's basketball finished off their weekend with a win over Greensboro College on Saturday in the Town Bank Tip-Off Tournament. Colin Soreka led all point scorers with 25 points, along with 2 steals, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists. Zach McDonough contributed 18 more points, and E.J. Porter reached double digits as well with 13 points. The Falcons maintained a steady lead and ultimately took the game 91-76. The next game for the men will come on Tuesday at the University of Pittsburgh at Greensburg.
After defeating Wesley, Messiah took on the St. Vincent Bearcats in the championship game of the Hampton Inn Tip-Off Tournament. Taking you to second quarter action, Becca Isaac with the hesitation and pulls up for the short jumper. Falcons lead 27-13. Later in the second quarter, shot clock is winding down. Haley Meriday finds Megan Zimmerman for the lay-in. Messiah leads 36-17. Third quarter, Macy Thornton misses the three, but Alicia Rohrer is there to grab the rebound and put it back up. 44-30 Falcons. Very next possession, Kristen Smolik with the jumper adding to the lead, 46-30 now. Fourth quarter, Falcons not taking their foot off the gas pedal. Isaac drains the long three, increasing the Falcons' lead to 21. Messiah would go on to win 60-42, clinching the tip-off tournament title. Alicia Rohrer was named the tournament MVP, while Macy Thornton was selected to the all-tournament team. The women will host Eastern University tomorrow night at 6.
The #1 Messiah men's soccer team dropped their Elite 8 match to the Rochester Yellow Jackets in Rochester, New York on Saturday. The Falcons fell into a 1-0 hole after a Yellow Jacket goal in the 34th minute. Nick West answered back with his 30th goal of the season in the 50th minute to tie things up 1-1. The downfall for the Falcons came in the 82nd minute with a deflection from the Messiah defense that crossed the goal line, resulting in an own goal and a 2-1 Rochester lead. Rochester would go on to win by the same score. This loss is the Falcons' first of the season, but sadly ends their campaign for the season as well.
The number 23 Messiah wrestling team traveled to Salem, Virginia this weekend for the Southeast Duels hosted by Ferrum College. The Falcons went 2-2 on the day in their 4 duel matches. Messiah defeated Greensboro 31-14 and Everett 34-12. But the Falcons dropped their matches to Mount Union 32-15 and Ferrum 37-11. Josiah Gare continued the strong start to his Messiah career with a 4-0 record on the day. The Falcons will take a week off from competition for the Thanksgiving holiday and will be back on the mats in the Messiah Petrophus Invitational on November 30th and December 1st.
When we come back, we will have Matthew Fenton, the Director of Athletic Communications, here with us to give a review of the fall sports season. Stay tuned.
Professional Development Center is designed specifically to help students with a lot of their questions regarding career and vocation. So if you're an incoming student and you're saying, I don't know what I should major in, or I've picked a major and I don't know what I should do with that major, we are a great place to come because we offer one-on-one counseling for students. There are 6 career coaches in our office that meet every day with lots of appointments to help you with your questions about a career and jobs and internships. So we do one-on-one counseling. If you've never built a resume, we can help you with that and correct that. If you've never done a practice interview, we do those. If you would like to meet with professionals in the field, we help you with that. Into the City is where each semester we take a trip to a major metropolitan area and take students with us. And we go with the sole purpose of helping students experience businesses and places of work in a large urban area. We've been to New York City, Boston. Currently we're leaving for Chicago, Baltimore, Nashville, Charlotte. So all the major cities we have been trying to get to, and we take students with us so that they can find out what it's like to live in the city and work there.
I really enjoyed my time going to Nashville because it was a really great opportunity to really understand what networking is, just being able to see, wow, from Messiah, that I could go and work in some of these big companies and small companies. Don't wait too long to go to the Career Center. They're here every day to want to help you. I know that really benefited me going there first year to be able to talk through my major change, what exactly a resume was, things to not say in an interview, a lot of different skills that were really beneficial that helped me get a leg up even from a first year student. I know sometimes you think, oh, I don't need to start thinking about this till sophomore, junior year, but there's a lot of resources that they have that can really help you get a step ahead.
Back. My name is Dan Allen, and I'm joined tonight by Matthew Fenton, the Director of Athletic Communications here on campus. Thanks for joining us tonight, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Dan. How are you?
That's awesome. I'm doing fantastic. So what's your position at Messiah, and what does that exactly entail? Like, what's your job? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm the Director of Athletic Communications. So we kind of get to do all the outward-facing kind of marketing pieces and promotional pieces for Messiah Athletics. So GoMessiah.com, if you ever follow us on there, or any of our social media sites. That's kind of my bread and butter and what we get to do on a day-in, day-out basis, writing articles, covering our teams in different ways.
That's awesome. So this was your first semester, at least at Messiah, in this position. So in your opinion, how did that first semester go for you? Oh,
it's been a great first semester. Obviously, have some really successful teams that we get to cover every night, which makes things a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, things kind of came to a close this weekend for our fall, but we're already right into the middle of the winter sports, which is really exciting. We have a number of competitive teams as well. So far, so good. It's been fun to host some NCAA events and some conference championship things. So looking forward to semester number 2 and our second season of the year.
Yeah, that's awesome. So in the first semester, the fall, what kind of changes were you able to make to how the communication team works, or what are you hoping to change moving forward?
I don't know if we made too many changes.
Okay.
I know Steve King, who was here in the past, and Josh Burkholder, who was in the role previously, they've done a number of great things from the athletic communication side of things. So really continuing and picking up where they left off. Really tried to put a big emphasis on our highlight of the nights throughout the year. So every game that we kind of broadcast through GoMessiah.tv, try to have a quick little highlight package with a voiceover just to keep fans up to date on what's going on our teams, and trying to do that on a consistent basis, particularly through our social media channels. So I don't know if that was a big change for us, but something we really put an emphasis on this past fall.
Okay, that's awesome. So speaking of highlights, do you have any highlights or a specific thing you'd like to look back on that happened this fall?
I touched on it a little bit. I think it's a lot of just the success that our teams have had this year. Not always just on the national stage, but in the conference, and personal bests and all of those things. We had a really successful fall. As I just mentioned, unfortunately, everything kind of came to a close for our fall. But we had 3 different teams reach their Sweet 16 or further in their sport. Really strong efforts for Ben Schott and Leanne Weaver at Nationals for cross country as well. So just successful season, 4 conference championships in one season, which isn't a bad thing.
No,
not at all. And we won 3 of them on one day, which was pretty cool, all in a matter of a couple of hours here at home. So that was definitely a highlight for me. A busy day for sure, but an exciting one for us.
That's awesome. So moving towards, now that fall's done, we move into winter and winter sports. A lot of the teams play, whether it's at home or away, they play over winter break, which is when a lot of the students, a lot of your fan base is gone, they're at home, so they don't show up to any games. How do you kind of handle communicating with them as the director of communication?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit off air, but this is a kind of an easier fall and winter for us. Our schedule's just kind of the way that they fell. We don't have really any home events over winter break this year, which is really nice. We still get to cover everything on the road, and we still have a number of teams competing on the road. But it's kind of a little bit different feel for us. So we keep up to date, my coworkers, I guess, and counterparts at all these other schools are covering teams when we're at home at their places, so when we're on the road with live stats and live video. So I get to watch all those games. I keep a close eye on what the Falcons are doing on the road, and still be tweeting things out and writing articles and trying to cover them as best we can. But I don't get to do a ton of traveling with our teams just because we have so many teams that are on the road all the time. But it's a different type of rhythm for us, depending on how things are going over breaks.
Yeah, so let's talk about Go Messiah TV for a little bit. I know you said that home games you guys broadcast live. Do you do that for road games? If so, are there specific teams that you choose to broadcast, and how far would you go away?
Yeah. We don't actually stream anything on the road.
Okay.
So it's kind of up to the home institution. If they're going to be streaming, what the stream kind of looks like. So we're in charge of everything here at home, and we have tons of home events. I think we have over 100 so far this year that we've streamed, and through that we have great student workers that are doing a number of different jobs, whether that be broadcasting or producing for us or running stats. We have a number of different positions, and so we're kind of in charge of things that are happening on our own campus. And when we're on the road, their campuses are kind of in charge. It's too tough for us to be able to go on the road and try to set up a stream there, just with the amount of equipment and what kind of our resources allow.
Okay, that's awesome. So students who want to get involved in either GoMessiah.com or social media stuff or photography for sports, I know you guys do that. How would they go about getting involved? And they'd have to contact you probably. Who else would there be to contact? How would they go about doing that?
Yeah, I think I'm probably the best point of contact, at least to start things out. I'm happy to have conversations about what our office looks like and what kind of roles we have in our office. It's a kind of an ebb and flow throughout the course of the year. So, sometimes we have 20 events in a week and we have tons of student worker needs, and the next 6 weeks we only have 6 home events. So things kind of slow down for us, and it kind of comes and goes over time. But if there's anybody that's interested, definitely have them shoot me an email or stop by the office. I'm always around, so
awesome.
You can catch me at a sporting event too. So.
All right, cool. So that is all the time that we have for tonight. Again, thank you, Matt, for joining us tonight. Stay tuned for Campus Calendar coming up next.
Adventure education is defined as the use of adventurous activities as a catalyst for personal and interpersonal growth. It's as much about the education as it is about the adventure. Within our program here, you definitely learn the leadership, and so together you get the complete package of not just the technical skills, but how to utilize and design those adventure experiences to help groups reach their goals.
Well, as an adventure ed major, you have to take certain outdoor activities courses. So you have the options of doing rock climbing, you could do canoeing, you can do caving, and learning all these cool activities that you could never do sitting in a classroom. definitely what makes this program awesome.
Welcome back to MC77. Here is this week's campus calendar. For those of you ready to take a break from school, Thanksgiving break begins this Wednesday, November 21st. Here is your reminder that on Tuesday, classes will be following a Thursday schedule. Break officially begins at the end of the school day, so make sure that your bags are packed and ready for you to head home. For students staying on campus, the Lottie Nelson Dining Hall will not be open. Be sure to stock up on food in your lounge fridge or find friends with an apartment who will let you cook in their kitchen for a few days. Even better if you can crash at a friend's apartment for the week. Classes will resume on Monday, November 26th at 8 a.m. Don't let turkey brain make you forget about doing homework over break, but do take the time to be thankful for your friends and family. A tip to make the holiday even more reflective, try writing down one thing you're grateful for during each day of break. That's all for this week's campus calendar. I'm Charmaine Lim.
Thank you, Charmaine. That's all for this week's show. Be sure to tune in next week for a town hall and stay tuned for MC Live coming up next.
For JoJo King, Dan Allen, and Charmaine Lim, I'm Lily Keshishian. Have a great Thanksgiving break.
This is the Grantham Community Garden. We grow over 40 different crops here, all grown organically, all by students, always student-led. We're one of the most profitable student organizations on campus. Everything that we grow here we sell, and that keeps the garden going and also pays the people who work in it. And now we're trying to work our way towards being a small farm. We have more paid student workers than we've ever had before.
On November 7th, SGA hosted its fourth installment of the Civil Discourse series, Civil Discourse Sexuality. This forum allowed students to openly share their thoughts on sexuality in a safe, inclusive space. Students reflected on what had influenced their sexuality and how the church has played a role. The Civil Discourse series was pioneered by Kelly Hopkins, the former SGA Vice President of Diversity, to encourage students to discuss hard topics. As the world becomes more and more polarized, SGA hopes that students can learn to engage difference and foster open dialogue.
Acclamation Dance Ministry is a club on campus that basically incorporates any number of people to come and learn about dance as a form of worship.
Acclamation offers a lot of classes. We offer 3 levels of modern, 3 levels of jazz, 3 levels of ballet, and a point class, and 2 levels of tap.
Anyone can be involved in Acclamation. We want our doors to be open and arms to be welcoming in for people if they want to learn dance and learn that through a means of worship. We are a student-run organization. All of our officers are students on campus. All of our teachers are students on campus. And we are a ministry first and foremost.
I think one of my favorite parts of Acclamation is just being able to put homework down, just being able to go to the dance studio and have a good time with friends and worship God.
It's definitely been a constant in my life and a constant in my time at Messiah.
I also really love the community. I love that it really is a family.
It's a community of people that are encouraging and lifting me up in my dance ability, not tearing me down.
I came to college where dance had always been something that really separated me from God. And so coming to Acclamation, I found people that danced with me and encouraged my faith. And also just a way to worship God that I hadn't really experienced before, and honestly now it's my most true form of worship.
For me, to use dance as a form of worship is to kind of give my body as a living sacrifice.
To give back to God what He's given to us, so just to use our talents and abilities for His glory.
For me, it means to just use movement in all that you are. In acclamation, we say audience for one, you're dancing for God, and that's what praising God through dance is.
It's me recognizing that this gift is not my own and it's something that I want to give the Lord, and also share with others that this isn't my own ability, but it's God's. For people who want to join acclamation, join.
I've seen many people who have tried it for the first time and just absolutely love it, so just give it a try.
And it's just a place to come have fun, really, and learn how to glorify God in a new way. And if you've never danced for God before, it's a really cool way to praise Him.
Hi, my name is Abigail McBride. I'm an alumnus of Messiah. I studied English here, and I also worked at our writing center, just working with different writers about things that were scary and, different ways to think about them to make writing more enjoyable. And today we're going to talk about something that I think was definitely one of the top scary things for a lot of writers coming in, myself included, and that's the introduction and the conclusion. And I mean, how intimidating is it to start that first paragraph and close it off also? Both those things I think always feel a bit awkward. But I think that there are ways to kind of structure that for yourself that it doesn't feel as much like, oh my gosh, how do I do this, as you enter the introduction and conclusion parts of your paper. So for this, I always like to use a metaphor, and this is just about the purpose of the introduction and the conclusion. And basically, I like to think of your paper as a tunnel, where you're walking through a mountain in this tunnel, and during that time, we're really focused. We're looking at one area, just moving ourselves forward along that tunnel. But in the introduction and the conclusion, our eyes need to adjust to the dark coming into the tunnel, and they need to adjust to the light coming out. So as we enter the tunnel, we want the writer to care for us, to help us enter the world of the paper and let our eyes slowly adjust to the tight, kind of dark focus we're going to have for the rest of the paper. And so I like to think of that as kind of a three-step process. In the beginning, something you might be familiar with is the idea of a hook, which is a way to get the reader interested. This is how you attract their attention to your tunnel in the beginning. It's the signpost that tells us where we're going. And a few ideas for that: it can be intimidating to try to grab someone's attention from the beginning of a paper, but different things you can use for that: a quote, a metaphor, an image, a question, a statistic. All these types of things are ways that you could start thinking about something that might be interesting to bring your reader into the paper. Then from there, you're going to move into the background of your paper. You start with your hook, and then you integrate that into what your paper is actually going to be about. Give us a little bit of history, a little bit of context, get our eyes adjusted, and then you're going to end that with your thesis statement, where then we've fully entered, we understand the claim, and we're ready to keep moving. Then on our way out of the tunnel, this is when our eyes want to adjust to the light coming out. You want to be thinking about, how is this paper going to apply? How are they going to carry the experience that they've had in the tunnel with them as they enter the wider world? And this is where there can be some conflict maybe in what you learned in high school versus what you might practice in college. In high school, we're often cautioned so strongly against not introducing a new idea into a conclusion that it feels like all you can do is restate the same ideas you've already made, which is a great skill to have, because the last thing anyone wants as they're exiting a tunnel kind of bleary is like a wolf to jump out at them or something like that. We want to be comfortably adjusted and know what we're taking with us. So a good way to think about, how do you actually give your reader something to take with them versus just restate what you've already said, is answering the question, so what, as you're exiting the tunnel. the idea behind that is you maybe pick a community, like maybe it's Messiah College, maybe it's the world, maybe it's your neighborhood, maybe it's your friend group. It can be as small or big as you like, but answer, why does your paper matter? How does it relate? And that's a good way to make sure, you know, the whole point of writing is to communicate with other people. And this is a way you can make sure you're not just writing a paper to answer a prompt or checking a list off, but you're actually caring for your reader. You're communicating with them. You're bringing them from the world that they know into something you want to say, and also making it useful as they leave. This is a great place to also make sure you go back and revise and check for word choice. Make sure that you're using words that are powerful, because again, this is the part that your reader is going to carry with them as they enter and leave, in both sides. If you're looking for more help with this, your writer's reference, which is you can use both as the textbook or through your Canvas course, has sections both on introduction and conclusion, and it can help guide you more as you write those.
Good evening and welcome to MC Live right here on MC77. I'm Dan Allen.
And I'm JC Seltzer, and we've got a great show for you tonight.
First up, we'll have junior Eric Anderson right here with us to play his viola.
Then we'll have Arkell Brown to talk about his experience as a student assistant coach. And later, Abigail LaBianca will tell us a bit about CMC.
Stick around, you will not want to miss this. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome to GoMessiah.com, the official website of Messiah College Athletics. On the homepage, you can find recent stories, a social media directory including general athletics and sport-specific accounts, and the Falcon YouTube stream. Scrolling down, you can view upcoming events with stats, audio, and video links if available, as well as recent results, including box scores and recaps. In those recaps, you can read the story along with view the photo gallery, next game information, team schedule, and roster. Game stats are on the side, and you can even watch the highlight of the night. These highlights are made possible by GoMessiah.tv, where you can view live streams and stats for all home games, regardless of where you are. GoMessiah.com, your home for everything Falcon.
Welcome back to MC Live here on MC77. We're back here on MC77 with junior viola player Eric Anderson.
So Eric, what are you going to be playing for us tonight?
I'll be playing a couple of selections from the Bach cello suites. They've been transcribed for viola, and they're really pretty. I like them.
All right, well, take it away.
All right, thanks.
That was
awesome, Erin. Thank you so much for sharing your music with us. When we come back, we will have Arkell Brown here with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome to GoMessiah.com, the official website of Messiah College Athletics. On the homepage, you can find recent stories, a social media directory including general athletics and sport-specific accounts, and the Falcon YouTube stream. Scrolling down, you can view upcoming events with stats, audio, and video links if available, as well as recent results, including box scores and recaps. In those recaps, you can read the story along with view the photo gallery, next game information, team schedule, and roster. Game stats are on the side, and you can even watch the highlight of the night. These highlights are made possible by GoMessiah.tv, where you can view live streams and stats for all home games, regardless of where you are. GoMessiah.com, your home for everything Falcon.
We're back here on MC77 with student assistant coach Arkell Brown. How are you tonight?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good, I'm very good. So can you start us off by telling everyone what you do?
Right now, this is my third year being the student assistant coach for the women's basketball team.
So what does your position look like? What do you do?
I am pretty much Mike Miller is the head coach, his right-hand man. Everything he needs done, I pretty much get it done. I send film out, I upload the film, sometimes I edit film. I'm more of a player coach, so I develop one-on-one relationships with the girls and just kind of work on skills with them as far as on the court issues.
So you talk about like developing skills with them. So do you need any prior basketball experience to be in this position?
It's highly recommended. Usually basketball coaches either have played the game for a while or they've been around the game for a while and they got into coaching, but usually they play the game at some type of like high level.
Are you asked to be a coach or do you apply?
So I was asked to be a manager in my freshman year. So my freshman year I was a manager for the women's team, and then that year was also my training year to be the student assistant, because the student assistant at that time, Ryan Shipper, was a senior and he was about to graduate. So after he graduated, I stepped right into that role.
What is the hardest part of being a coach?
The hardest part about being a student assistant, honestly, is just watching the game. Sometimes you just wish you're out there and you could just fix all the mistakes, or you can just enjoy the game with them. Even though I'm a man, like I still love the game so much. So just sometimes it's just really hard for me to like sit back and just enjoy it. But I love watching them just enjoy every moment that they have.
What is the most rewarding part of being a coach?
The most rewarding part about being a coach, I would say, is just developing those relationships with the girls. I mean, I still have relationships with the girls from my freshman year, like Deanna Irakis and Dominique Seaman. And I can call them anytime I want, and they can call me anytime they want. We can have hours-long conversations. So just developing those relationships and knowing that they value me, and them knowing that I value them as well. So I always told my girls I love them so much. So.
Oh, do you think you'll come back at all?
The plan currently is to potentially get a graduate assistant spot. If that opens up, if God opens up that door for me, it'd be something I seriously consider. But if not, then I'll just let God lead me.
So other than that, what are your plans for the future?
To graduate on May 18th in 2019. Shout out to all the seniors. But after graduation, I'll probably be going home and I have some other coaching opportunities, like going back to my high school to coach, or maybe getting a GA spot somewhere else at another college. My aunt is a collegiate coach, Division II level in South Carolina. So I have opportunities. I just got to figure out where does God want me to go.
How has this position influenced you in your future plans?
I think this position has definitely made me realize how much I actually love the game. Because like I said, like one of the hardest parts is just to watch the game. But I feel like that was one of the hardest when I was younger, like my freshman year starting out. But now it's just, I find joy in coaching. Like it's so much, it's a different type of stress with coaching than it is being a player. So sometimes the coaching stress is a little better, but.
Have you been playing basketball your whole life?
I started playing basketball when I was about 10. I started being trained by my stepfather, who played at Frostburg State, one of the all-time leading scorers there. And then when I turned 11, I actually developed into organized basketball. So.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show
No
tonight.
problem. Thank you guys for having me.
And talking with us. When we come back, we will have Abigail LaBianca here with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break.
I have really found a significant
thank you guys.
interaction, and I felt that at the chemistry department at Messiah that they have just been really invested in my education, and they've cared about who I am as a person. We have resources available to us that are similar to those that you might find at a bigger research university, and I think that one of the most crucial developmental aspects of my relationship to God as a result of my education is that I'm learning to appraise the difference between the scriptural truth that we are taught growing up as Christians and the things that maybe require more critical thinking, and learning to learn more about who God is by our study of the natural world and how we can study that and just grow closer to Him.
It absolutely changed my life. We got to use sports to glorify God, and it was awesome to be able to use our talents in that way. And on top of that, I also got to find more about my identity in Christ and my personal calling. And that was actually through the missionaries there who are alumni of Messiah. They talked to me about their need for accountants, which is my major. And so I've actually been able to use those gifts in a way I never thought was possible through missions and in Panama, a completely different country. So it was awesome.
Welcome back. We've got Abigail LaBianca here with us to talk about her CMC experience. Thanks for joining us, Abby. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
That's awesome. I'm actually great. So what exactly is CMC? Can you explain that to us?
So CMC is a semester-long program designed for students that come from Christian colleges all across the country. Basically at CMC you learn from industry professionals all about the music industry. Artists, techs, and business people alike can all go there together and put on shows every week and ultimately put on a tour at the end of the semester, a week-long tour. They travel around the East Coast, Tennessee, that area. So.
That's awesome. So I want to touch on a lot of that, but first,
yeah.
So I know you come to school here, you live in dorms here, you go to some place like Nashville, Tennessee, which is hundreds of miles away from school. Where do they put students? Where do students live?
So students live in an apartment complex right across the street called Estates of Brentwood.
Okay.
So yeah, you're basically put together with other students and you live together, and it's super cool.
That's cool. That's awesome. So out of all the fields that you mentioned, the tech, the business, the performance, what field did you do? What interested you the most?
I was tech.
You were
so I struggled a lot whether to be artist or tech, but ultimately I chose the tech track.
Can you talk about your decision a little bit? What made you choose tech track?
Yeah, basically I chose tech track because that would ultimately teach me more, I felt like, because this program has a lot of professional equipment that you can't find anywhere else. And so having the opportunity to work with that equipment was mind-blowing.
That's so cool. So as part of tech track, what were some of the jobs that you had?
Well, okay, so in my semester we had about 17 techs, which is a lot. And we put on a show every single week, so every tech had an opportunity to do something different every single week. So some were on front of house, some were lighting designers, stayed up till 3 in the morning. So we did a bunch of things, so I flip-flopped a ton.
That's awesome. So you got a lot of experience in a lot of different places.
Oh, yeah.
So out of everything you got experience doing, when it was time for tour, when it came down to business, what was your position? What did you get to do for tour?
I was the monitor engineer. So basically, for those who don't know, that is the person off to the side of the stage that puts all the sound in the artist's ears or their wedges up at the front so they can hear themselves and their other bandmates.
Awesome. So you got to work a lot with the artists.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the interaction between you and the artists and how that worked?
So having a relationship with the artist is really important. Pretty much the whole time I'd be off the side of the stage, I was basically the stage mom. So it was my job to keep an eye on them and make sure that they were doing okay the whole time. They could hear everything. So I got their energy from the stage. They received my energy from the stage. It was just a lot of back and forth. Like, building relationships is key to that job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you think, in your opinion, was the most challenging part of the whole experience, not just tour, everything? What was the most challenging part for you?
Working with openers. So during tour, we were given these random bands or artists from these schools that I didn't know. I'd been working with the same people all semester. So working with new people every single time, introducing them to in-ears for the first time, it was different, but it was fun.
Okay, that's really cool. So how did having that semester there, I know it's just a semester, but it can make a big difference. How did it affect your future goals and your plans?
I want to keep going on tour. I know what I want to do for a long time. So I want to keep working as a tech. I have a much bigger appreciation for people in the background now rather than up on the stage. So that's a huge thing, and I basically defined what I want to do for the rest of my life. This program is incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you could make any type of shameless plug or anything for CMC, talk about like how to get more information. Is it worth it? What was your, anything you want to say about CMC? Say it now. Go ahead.
Go there. If you're interested in music at all, or studio recording, or a live sound, or even if you think that's something you could be interested in but aren't comfortable in or feel like you're not ready to do, I went in with zero experience, and I came out of that program, knowing so much and feeling ready to just take on the world. So go to bestsemester.com. They're cute. They have a lot of programs across everywhere. So check out that program because it's fantastic.
That's awesome. So before we go,
yeah.
You mentioned that you went in with no experience.
Yeah.
For them to be able to give you experience, they have to have pretty experienced people. So who do they have that teach you guys?
Well, the person who taught me has worked with Toby Mac for the past 15 years. Matt Mayer, Amy Grant, pretty much a lot of big names in the industry. So a lot of industry professionals that seasoned people in their field, and they know a ton. And so having that input on what you do, and one of their catchphrases is no malice, no mercy. And so they're honest with you, but only because they want to push you further and further.
That's awesome. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight, taking time out of your night. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for tonight. So yeah, thank you for coming out. Thank you also to Eric Anderson and Arkell Brown for joining us here tonight. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to tune in next Monday for Falcon Update at 7, or check our YouTube channel for more campus news and musical performances. Have a great night.
Welcome back to MC77. Here is this week's campus calendar. For those of you ready to take a break from school, Thanksgiving break begins this Wednesday, November 21st. Here's your reminder that on Tuesday, classes will be following a Thursday schedule. Break officially begins at the end of the school day, so make sure that your bags are packed and ready for you to head home. For students staying on campus, the Lottie Nelson Dining Hall will not be open. Be sure to stock up on food in your lounge fridge or find friends with an apartment who will let you cook in their kitchen for a few days. Even better if you can crash at a friend's apartment for the week. Classes will resume on Monday, November 26th at 8 a.m. Don't let turkey brain make you forget about doing homework over break, but do take the time to be thankful for your friends and family. A tip to make the holiday even more reflective, try writing down one thing you're grateful for during each day of break. That's all for this week's campus calendar. I'm Charmaine Lim.